I'm Linda Haywood, Director of African American Studies at Boston University. And I'm intrigued by your own personal life story and that the way in which you portray the sort of national myth, because it is, in fact, a very much an American story. And what my question is, why it is that this story is not, in fact, part of the requirement in schools, that the African American story be part, a central part, a required part, because it is so much exemplifies that myth. I find myself teaching African American history from a global perspective, and I get few students who are interested in this, and those students who do take the course say, oh, I'm learning so many things about American history that I didn't know. Yes. The whole experience of being, in fact, Southern and coming to the North, and all every element of the American myth is encompassed in the African American experience, which in fact broadens and makes sense of the American experience. So I wonder if you can speak to that. Why is it not that that African American story become also part of the American story?
Yes, I agree with you completely. I think in part it's easy to divorce it and to talk about it as, you know, the civil rights story. The civil rights story is a very important part of American history, but told from the perspective of the leadership of the story. It's much like the fact that European history is often told about kings and queens. It's not told about what life is like. One thing that I wanted to do with this story was to talk about how in this context, it looks for a family, for a little girl. And my great friend, Clay Carson, who's a great historian of the black experience, said to me, you know, it's all right to tell it as the story of a little girl. And maybe if we can get more stories that really do relate the degree to which the black story, the black American story, has some unique aspects, but it's very much in the context of an America which, despite the fact that America did not embrace blacks, did not embrace African Americans embraced America. And that's a very interesting psychological reaction. You know, when you think about it, yes, there were always people, even W.E.B. Du Bois, who toyed with the notion of Pan-Africanism or separatism or something. But for the most part, the narrative, the engagement, the dialogue was about how to make America be what it said it was. And embracing the principles, embracing the values, not in any way rejecting them, and even in times when America was not embracing black America. So I think it is an absolutely fundamental part of the American story.
Okay.